What's up, y'all? It's your boy, the Amazing King, coming to you live and in color, bringing you that oh so amazing touch. You guys, I want to bring you back to another episode of the Get Ready For It podcast, season 5, new era. You guys, we got a full house today, but before we jump into the topics, I'm going to introduce you to my co-host for today, my girl, Renee.
Hey, y'all.
Renee, this is your second time here.
It is.
I think it was a month ago you came back? Was it a month ago? How was your first time?
It was cool. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm back, ain't I?
Back, better than ever. She a little bit more comfortable now, so we're going to get even more of Renee that we didn't get the first time, right?
Right.
Back. And back by popular demand, my girl, Kimberly. What's up, Kimberly?
Hello.
It's been a while. How long has it been?
Since January.
The top of the year. Ooh, that's been a good little minute. But now you back. It's your second time here. We're going to get you back on here a lot more.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. Thank you for having me.
You ready to talk about it?
Yes, sir.
Let's get into it. We got a new voice in the building, but you guys already know who my boy is. DJ N.E.L. What's up, my boy?
Peace and blessings, King. What's poppin'?
What's up, my boy? This is your listen. We are seasoned vets at this time, and you're the new boy around the block. Are you ready to talk about it?
Now, let's get it.
Let me tell you, these two ladies, they do not hold back. So their opinion, They don't mind to tussle with you now. So are you sure you ready?
Positive.
Hey, let's get into it. We're gonna start into our favorite topic here at the Get Ready For It podcast. It's the shit people say on social media. I probably shouldn't say this is gonna go on YouTube, but oh well. God is good. The first one is these are statements, questions, remarks people have said on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the social media outlets, and they may be questions or statements. We're just gonna give our reaction and our opinion to it. Y'all ready?
Let's do it.
Bet. Rule number 1, always pray over your plans. Let's talk about it. Renee, do you believe in that? Do you when you manifest something, you map something out, do you pray?
It's a prayer for me. Like when I make my vision board,
Go ahead.
I have a prayer part of it where everything that I have, all my goals, it's like in that envelope. Yeah, I pray over it. I pray over my kids too.
You see, I ain't gotten to the vision board work yet. Is that you feel like does that help you like throughout the year? Was that
waking up, seeing it is motivation because it's like I get up every day and I know what I'm going for. Like I got everything mapped out, like step by step. Sometimes I get up and I just go read it. Like I read the prayer that I'll write out for my kids, like the goals that I have.
You better come on now. And the boss himself, I'm DJ. You know you a man of many talents. What's up? Do you pray over your plans?
Absolutely. I'm one of those people that believes that manifestation and prayer are kind of one and the same. So you can't aspire to have big goals and big aspirations if you don't have some sort of source that it's connected to. Regardless of whatever you believe in, whatever your religious practices or whatever your spiritual practices are, it's different strokes for different folks. But at the end of the day, the foundation of getting to a goal, and to complement what Renee said, it comes down to seeing it. When you wake up in the morning, like having something saved, like I have my logo, one of my logos saved as my screensaver on my phone. It's a reminder to me to keep going because of where I remember where I started at in this business, and I know where I want to go with it. And it's one of the pieces of process that I have to remind me, yo, you had a vision in your head and you saw yourself as being a successful DJ. Now you're 2-3 years into the game. Keep going. So yeah, absolutely.
Listen, I agree with you on that because I got my whole podcast up on my first. So listen. Kimberly, how do you feel about that?
I agree. And to Renee's point with the vision board, I made one this year. This is my first vision board that I made, and everything that was on it, it came to fruition. And I definitely believe that the power of prayer, keeping the faith, manifestation definitely comes to fruition with everything. So pray over it, pray through it, pray on it. Absolutely. I'm big on that.
I guess I need to start doing a vision something. Next one. Repeat after me. I'm allowed to do what's best for me, even if it's upset others. That's real, especially when it comes down to family and some friends. You know, I'm allowed to let you go if you don't mean me no good.
Yeah.
I don't have to give you an explanation. How do you feel about that, Kimberly? Oh, wait a minute.
Because I have a lot to say about this. I think even though it's hard sometimes to like tell people like what it is, you have to be selfish, you know, with what you stand on, because at the end of the day, you come first. Right. So a lot of the times people, it may hurt them, but if they are emotionally intelligent enough to understand, then they shouldn't be upset about it. That makes sense.
Part of the problem is that they're not emotionally intelligent enough to
Right.
understand all the time.
Exactly.
That is true. That is definitely true. I ain't gonna cap. I done been some not intelligent emotional. We talking about him, you know. Sometimes, you know, but also the feelings of people just can naturally take over. You know, if you are friends with somebody for a long time, you think everything's going good, and one day they just stop talking to you. I think your natural reaction would be like, okay, what did I do? Why you're not talking to me? Try to find out the reason why. Yeah. So you know, we're both on the same side with that. What about you, Renee?
Yeah, so for me, it's the same. Like, I feel like you can't pour from an empty cup. So you do have to make sure that
come on now, you better come on.
You got to make sure that you making sure your needs and your wants are being met before you can help anybody else. Because at the end of the day, if you don't pour into you and you keep giving and giving, then you won't have anything to give. And like for me, like with being a single mom, it's definitely like something I have to tell my kids sometimes. Hey, Lacey, no.
Yeah.
Just go. I gotta get me some me time. I gotta think.
Right.
Like right now is not a good time.
Right.
Give me some time. Give me 30 minutes.
Right.
I'll go watch TV, do something. But right now I gotta pour into me. Like, and so I set my schedule and like I pour into myself. And yeah, you do have to let people know. Like it's a no. Family, everything. Like friends, it don't matter. Like my friend get on me all the time. She be like, you don't answer your phone. My phone D on D. All day.
It'd be like that sometimes.
It's all day. Sometimes I'll be trying to tell them like, hey, like I gotta keep that vision. I gotta keep focused. It's like I be so in tune with just my daily routine to the point where it's like, no, like right now it's not like every once out the blue moon I'll come out and I'll be calling and we gonna get on the phone. We may talk for hours, but then I'm gonna get right back in my zone.
Right.
So yeah.
You got anything to add to that, Mr. N.E.L?
Well, as a black sheep of my family, this is a topic that hits home for me. Understanding that people are not always going to see your vision. They're not always going to see eye to eye with you. You know, they're going to ask you certain questions. Why not do this? Why not that? But at the end of the day, you got to follow your own path, regardless of where that might take you or how people might feel about it. See, one thing that I noticed throughout my time and my journey is that people oftentimes try to project their fears and their failures upon you and try to make it seem as though because they didn't achieve what they set out to do, that somehow means that you can't do it. And I absolutely deplore that way of thinking because it's poison. If you have a dream or if you have a goal, you can't let anybody, whether it's your mama, your daddy, your grandmama, whoever, you can't let nobody kill that vision for you because it's people. Yeah, people could say what they want you to do all day, but is that going to make you happy? Is it going to fulfill you? Are you going to walk? Would you rather walk day to day doing what somebody else wants you to do, but internally in your spirit, you're depressed, you're sad, you don't have any type of, all your creatives is gone? Or would you rather take a stand for yourself, maybe have to be isolated for a little while, but you're achieving what you want to achieve. You're going after what you want to do. For me, it's always been the latter, and I'm a much happier person because of that. And I think in life, happiness is one of those ultimate goals that we're all seeking.
Absolutely.
A lot of us don't know how to find that happiness either because people don't like to take time to themselves. I feel like when you take that time for yourself, you learn yourself more and you get to know like what's really for you. People don't know themselves. Like a lot of people don't know themselves. They're just going with the flow of what is norm to everybody else, what social media is feeding to them, like what they're conditioned to believe. And it's not really like their authentic self. Like a lot of people, it's not authentically them because they don't take the time to learn their self.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't even know what happiness means to them, you know. And to your point, DJ N.E.L, I just feel like it's healthy boundary setting at the end of the day, you know?
Right.
Set those boundaries with people. So.
And stop looking for happiness with other people. You gotta find that happiness by yourself, because I think that's what we people think happiness is. Oh, if this person makes me happy, then I'm happy. That's fake happiness. Because once they're gone, you know
what you got left.
What you got left?
Yeah.
Yourself. And so work on yourself. The word demure means shy, modest, or reserved. You are totally not using it correctly. FYI. You know.
I'm so sick of this word.
All right. Can I chime in on this one?
Go ahead.
Can either one of y'all explain the definition of this word to me? Because I've been hearing this word circulating. I have no idea what it is or what it means.
So apparently what it means is like reserved. You're supposed to be shy, you know, quiet, modest, reserved type of female. woman, right? And a lot of the times on TikTok, this TikToker went viral for the term, and now everybody is now saying it, and it's just getting blown out of proportion because they're like using it incorrectly. Like,
right,
it's just too much. I never use the word because I don't be with the trends. So
right, demure.
So Renee, are you demure?
I mean, in real life, yeah.
Yeah, we are, right? But it's just like,
Though that's crazy because that person just said that and it just like blew up.
Took
And
off,
for the whole last 2 weeks, that's all I've been hearing.
Yeah,
it's not demure.
Sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes that's all it takes. Look at the Hawk Tour girl. She literally she just said that one thing in the podcast. Now look, she everywhere. She getting big bags. She getting money. She's getting opportunities.
Plies made a song out of it too.
Right. That's all it takes sometimes.
You're never going to hear the side of my story anyway because I don't really care.
It depends.
Yeah, it really depends. Because let me tell you something. I'm a Cancer. I'm finna tell my side of the story. You finna hit it because you ain't finna be lying on me like that.
Right.
You feel me? I feel like this is a what's your sign again, Renee?
I'm a Virgo.
Oh, you gonna definitely tell your
Happy
story.
Virgo season. When's your birthday?
The 10th September.
Okay.
Turn up.
What about you?
I'm a Gemini, so I have a lot to say sometimes.
Yeah. So with this whole side. What about you?
Water bearer.
Pisces?
Aquarius.
Oh, Aquarius. Okay. I like Aquarius. They're cool.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm telling my whole story. Definitely to my brother and my definitely to my brother. I'm finna tell the whole story because he be lying on me. You feel me? Sometimes I be having to get with him. Cause I'm sorry.
So it's saying tell your whole story even if they don't care.
Yes.
If they don't care, I'm not gonna waste my time and my breath. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'm finna waste it because it heals my soul. You feel me?
Yeah,
to let it out. I can't let it be pinned up just because you think I'm
Such
finna
a
get back to you.
Cancer.
You having a great sleep and me pinned up. No, you finna hit me. Tossing and turning. Definitely is.
Are you really emotional?
Let's not talk about that right now.
Okay, we don't gotta talk about
it. Not this one. A child cussing isn't funny. You know, you were a mother. What's your stance on children cussing?
I don't play with my kids. They know. You better not. You represent me. You're not gonna go out here doing it.
Because I'm getting wrong. You're Haitian, right?
No, I'm Jamaican.
Jamaican. Y'all don't play.
Oh, I'm half.
Yeah.
So you already set that tone that using those bad words will equal punishment.
Yeah. I know they do it outside of like when I ain't there.
Right.
But in front of me, in front of like a grown up,
They
like
wasn't there.
school, I better not hear them teachers text my phone or email me about y'all saying.
That's it.
My mom was the same way. She was like, listen, you already know what's gonna happen. 'Cause I don't even play no games, right? If you cussing, I was scared to say hell till I was like 33 years old. I'm 32, so 33 don't make no sense. Anyway, I was scared for a long time, right? So, but when I see kids cussing, it's just like the first thing I say, "Where your mom at?" That's the first thing I always say. "Where your mom at?" What about you, Kimberly?
I was raised when my mom told me you better know your schoolwork like you know them lyrics. So if these kids out here just cursing and rapping these rap songs, you better know your schoolwork. But I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's appropriate, and it's just too much.
Can you repeat that line again?
Sure. You better know your schoolwork like you know them rap music.
I heard that.
Because y'all know Sexy Red back and front, but you don't know how to spell.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What's going on with the child? What about you, DJ N.E.L?
For me, I ain't gonna lie. If I see a kid that's like my little cousin, my little nephew, and I hear him cuss one time, a part of me is gonna laugh. You know what I mean? Because I find that to be a little humorous. But at the end of the day, it's up to the parents to definitely instill that discipline to let them know, no, there's not going to be tolerated. Because when you get out to the real world, they're not going. No, you just like Renee said, you represent me. You are my child. You make the whole. You don't just make me look bad. Honestly, you make the whole family look bad. You run around cussing like a sailor at 5 years old. But within the house, because you got to steer as a parent. You have to steer kids. So if they cuss, they don't know no better. They just repeat maybe something that they daddy heard, or maybe something you might have even said at one point. You might have heard you talking.
9 out of 10 is they hear from the parents.
Right.
They heard you talking on the phone to your girlfriend, bitch. What? And then the kid come out, bitch. And then you. Right. So you got to let them know. No, it's not cool. But yeah, there is a part of me that does laugh, but you can't show that. You got to laugh in your head and then let them know, no, don't do that.
I think that's a good point. You know, you got to set an example for a child, right? Yeah. So, you know, a child's going to mimic what you do. So if you cussing nonstop, MFers, my mama, you know, she was definitely a cusser, but would go to church every Sunday. You hear me? But listen, no, that's a whole different generation. That's a whole different time. I'm just saying. So you got to start. The example has to start in the household. Okay, I got a question for you guys. A list of things that you are handling well right now. I'm going to start it off. I think I'm doing a great job handling my finances, which is hard in this economy. I tap myself on the back because, you know, I like to eat good food. We like to eat good food. You can't be broke while doing it. That's just my piece on that.
Right.
Cook it at home.
Exactly.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good.
I faithfully that air fryer get used faithfully in my household. Faithfully in my household. What about you, DJ?
Thing I'm managing well, honestly, is my business. My business is doing better than it's ever done since I first started DJing, and not just from the actual getting booked perspective, but building a proper team for myself, having the right people in my circle. Shout out to OSM, shout out to Mary Leslie, Blue Lux Marketing. My team holds me down. They make sure that I have everything that I need from a legal standpoint, and from, even if it's just like, okay, I know we all have our moments where we don't feel 100%. We might feel a little discouraged. I got people to talk to that actually help build me back up and get me where I need to be. And I feel like that's important. You don't need people in your team that's just there for the money. Yeah. They there for the money. They're there for the wrong reasons. You need people that actually have your best interests at heart. And I know that I have that at this point. And it's hard to, and you can't really, it's hard to find that. You can't just go to Walmart and purchase loyalty.
Let me tell you, I got some story because this podcast is long. But anyway, we're not going to touch on that. We're going to let that go. Renee, what about you?
So for me, I feel like it's just keeping that balance. Like, I start school tomorrow. I'm a student. I'm a college student. I'm a mom. And I work full time. Yeah. And so for me, it's just being able to, like, you know, get up. Like, I'm waking up at 5 a.m. Like, I have my days already planned out, being productive, getting up, fixing my kids' lunch. Like, you know, I'm at the stage where I'm meditating before I start my day. So it's like, I feel like I'm in a good place when it comes down to, like, mental health and just balancing life all around, because I'm even making time for, like, social. Like, usually I'll be like all mom, or, you know what I'm saying? So it's that balance, to being able to balance everything for me.
What made you find that balance? Was there an event that happened, or, like, you know, I need to get this right?
So, like I said, it's always been to where, like, when I was married, right? So I felt like I poured into my family. It was like my husband and my kids. Like, I always put myself last. So once I got divorced and I had to figure out doing this, like, by myself, it was hard. Like, and I kept crying, like, what? Like, I was going through it, like, real bad, because it's not nobody there to help me, like, give them a bath. Like, I have to do everything. So it's like, it took a toll on me, like, mentally, because I'm like, this is too much. Like, I got to clean up after y'all. I got to do this. I got to do that. Then I'm trying to get my life together. I'm trying to go back to school. Like, I'm trying to figure out me. So it just took a toll on me, like, having to do everything. It took me breaking down for me to be able to, like, be like, okay, you need structure. You need to get back to that. You need to get back to planning. You need to get back to writing stuff down. Make time for what's needed. Like, my son, I felt like it was because of my divorce, but he was struggling at one point with school and reading, and I had to get into that. So now, like, you know, I get off work, I'm getting tutors, I'm reading to them, like, every night. I make time for everything, and it's like, if I had to shut the world out to do it, as long as my household is okay and I'm okay mentally, then that's fine. So that's what it took for me to get back to that. Like, I was like, I don't like this. Like, I gotta get it right.
Hats off to you, Queen, for finding yourself again. That's beautiful.
No, it really is.
What about you, Kimberly?
Same. I mean, I'm not a mom or anything like that, but honestly, just living life on life terms, taking it day by day. Because we get 24 hours, right, every day. So, like, what are you going to do with that 24 hours? How are you going to make it happen? And just living life. I think I'm managing it really well, because life can be hectic and it can throw you curveballs, but
I think you are too. You're a young girl, and you out here making it happen. You got yourself together, so my hat's off to you. You guys, I want to talk about some hot topics, if you guys don't mind. We're gonna hop into some hot topics. Listen, you know, some kids took a trip down to the courtroom, And one of the young ladies unfortunately fell asleep in the courtroom. And then the judge, I said it right, the judge decided to somewhat like reprimand her for that. How do you guys feel about this situation, this judge and what he did to that young lady?
Let me go first.
Yeah, go first.
I think he took it too far.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could have went a different way with trying to show discipline or, whatever he was trying to do. He could have had her just stand before the judge and show her like consequences that way, but arresting her and having her change into the jail outfit and all that stuff, that was just too much for a 15-year-old girl. He could have handled that differently. So
that's trauma now.
Yeah.
Right. I know what I agree with you 150,000%, but I will say this one thing in regards to them kids. Stay your ass. I can curse? Stay y'all asses out of that judicial system so you don't get put in situations like that to begin with. Because them judges and them police is looking to make examples out of us, especially the ones that look just like us. And that was a prime example of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a man. He took his authority too high. He got that. You get that power, and because in my mind, you may be a judge, but who the fuck are you in real time?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm a 15-year-old kid. Listen, you don't know my circumstances at home. Like the mother came out and said that they're homeless. She hasn't been getting enough sleep. You didn't take time to find that out. You would just want to be like, I'm going to set an example out of this black little girl.
Yep.
Weirdo.
Because he didn't like her attitude.
Yeah, I would have told him kiss my.
And that's the thing for me. I feel like people in authority, sometimes they take advantage because they will like try to prove a point, and it's like, to me, I just feel like, like when you in certain situation or when you have certain power, I feel like it's only certain people that deserve to have those type of power because those people is the people that know to pour love. You pour love. That's how you get change. You don't. You get what I'm saying? Like it's just certain way you go about stuff, especially when it comes down to kids. They're our future, so you have to like pour love into them because you never know what's going on in these homes. Like some of these kids are not getting any type of love or attention in the home. So it's like when you come out here, and when I see kids with like attitudes or they're having like issues, I know it's something deeper. So I don't like typically, you know what I'm saying? I don't typically like, oh no, like y'all rude, or you know how some people just off rip just feel like it's disrespectful. It's something deeper that's going on.
Yeah, reason behind everything.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you look at it from the judge's perspective, he's looking at it like y'all are just some belligerent, ignorant, kids. But what the aspect that you're talking about from it, Renee, is the aspect that at the end of the day, these are kids.
Yeah.
These are children. They have certain, like you said, they have certain issues and problems that they may be dealing with at home. And instead of coming down hard on them and trying to make examples out of them, talk to them, get to know them, see what their situation is. Because at the end of the day, like you said, they're our future, and we have to. It's our responsibility as the older crowd. And now that we're starting to age a little bit, to pour into these kids. However that may be. Everybody has their different motives, but yeah, to make an example out of that and to handle that in that type of way, it just goes to show.
And what Renee was saying was she has that's trauma now.
Yeah,
that's a poor experience. Probably one of her first experience being in front of the judge was her being arrested for doing nothing.
Yeah.
right.
It's really unfortunate. So let's go to the next one. Michael is a high profile guy. He is a Caucasian man, and he went on the Breakfast Club and he spoke about how he doesn't like the division in the black community or the black culture. He feels there's too much black on hate. He got a lot of backlash because he is Caucasian, saying this about the black community, a community that he's not a part of. How do you guys feel about this particular situation? A person that's not in the race speaking about the race.
I don't understand. If he's telling the truth, he's telling the truth.
That's what I was gonna
regardless
say
of
also.
what his color is. Like, I'm a black woman, and I hate the division that we have. Like, we're the only race that tear each other down. Like, we're the only race that doesn't build each other up. And I guess because my culture is different, like I grew up in a different time, it might not be like this now in Jamaica, but when I was coming up, it was literally a community. Like, I see so much, like, coming here is so different. And it's like when you speak on it, because it's not norm, you get that backlash. Like, it doesn't have to be that because he's not black. If it's the truth, it's the truth. Sometimes you need to listen, and we got to do better. Like, you get what I'm saying? Shining that light on something, it shouldn't matter where it's coming from. As long as you're getting educated, I feel like it should be fine.
Okay, so I'll explain the issue that I have with Michael Rubin and people, like him who don't come from that culture, speaking on those type of issues. The issue is that they speak on it from an outsider's perspective, but they're not. They're more focused on taking what they can from our culture and our traumas and situations that we deal with in real life and exploiting it for their profit. In that particular case, when he said that, I didn't necessarily take a slight to it for what he said, because he wasn't necessarily wrong. It's just more of like, okay, you say that, but what are you doing to be part of the solution? Or are you part of the solution, or are you part of the problem? Are you just saying that because, you want to genuinely help out with this particular issue and put your, I guess he's a billionaire, billions and billions of dollars into helping this cause that we deal with? Or are you just speaking on it from an outsider's perspective and just hanging out with these rappers and these entertainers because it makes you look good, but you feel as though you don't have to give anything back to the culture? Which one is it going to be? That's kind of where I stand with it.
True. I don't think he said anything wrong, to be honest, but it was just like the wrong messenger, if that makes sense. I feel like in our culture, we have crabs in a bucket mindset. I hate to say it that way, but a lot of the times we tear each other down. We don't really pour into our black businesses as we should. We all guilty of it also. We are quick to purchase stuff from like designer stores and, like white businesses, go to white restaurants. But it's just like when it comes to our black communities, just like, why are we not pouring into them, So he's just only going off what he sees outside looking in, but wrong messenger.
Yeah, I agree with all sides with that. I think it was the wrong messenger that made the message or said the message, because still, my thing is, the Caucasian community has a lot of things that need to be fixed too.
Absolutely.
With racism and hatred of other cultures and try to suppress other cultures. Let's talk about that. Why don't you just unpack that before you start talking about another community that you profit off of? Because the community that he profits off of is the black community.
Yep.
So I do feel as though, like you said, if you see an issue, why won't you try to change it? Because you got the money to kind of assist with that.
Yeah.
You got any programs going on? No. You just having parties in all white with these people that are mostly black.
I will say this.
Go ahead.
It starts with us.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
It's nothing that they can, like, I don't feel like it's nothing that they can do that is going to help us. It starts with us. We have to make the change. We have to get out of this loop that we're in and actually like do the work. Like it's really not hard. It's our mindset. A lot of us blacks, we just got to change our mindset and change the way that we operate. It's conditioned, and it's a lot of things that I do feel like they do now. They will condition us, but at the same time, we have the tools to educate ourselves, to do better, like to make the change that we need. So you can't. It don't matter what anybody else do. If we don't do the work, it's never gonna get done.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like with our ancestors and people before us, they actually fought for something. They wanted change. They all came together and made it happen. Despite whatever consequences they were faced against, they made sure they're going to fight for change.
Because back then they knew they had nothing.
Exactly.
And everybody was against them.
Yep.
And they still stood. That's why I have an issue with people like our people, for instance, who feel like it's cool to disrespect the people who came before us, our grandparents, our great-grandparents' generation, because the amount of things that they had to endure to get us the privileges and the rights that we have today. You can't even call that type of sacrifice. I know for 100% fact, 90% of us, myself included, is not going to do a lot of the things that our ancestors did.
Oh yeah.
No way in hell. So, like you said, it's on us to change. It starts with the mind, the mentality, changing the way that we think, the way that we perceive each other. If my brother King walks into the room and everybody perceives him as a threat until he proves that he's not, me and him. We look at each other in an endearing way because we have the right mindset. But at the end of the day, if he walks to the Wawa, for example, he might see a brother that might look at him funny, and it's that conditioning that we have to where it's self-hatred, because we're trained to do things with each other. We're trained to dislike each other, and that has to stop.
So speaking about our community, let's talk about Neo, since his black ass is not a community. Neo feels as though it's okay to have multiple girlfriends or multiple women because he has the money to keep them up and keep them rolling. How do you guys feel about this situation?
Yeah, I'll let y'all go first.
Yeah, let's get Kimberly and Renee go first, and we just want to get some understanding.
I mean, if the female is down for it, that's on them. They down for it. Like, when you get in a relationship with a person, you have to make sure that you have common grounds and you have, like, you know, y'all got to see eye to eye. It
You know what
be
you're signing up for.
It got to be commitment. It got to be mutual. As long as he's open with it and he's letting everybody know that's involved in the situation and they're fine with that, then that's on them.
I agree.
A relationship
100%.
is all about it's at the end of the day, it's a commitment. It's a contract that y'all making between y'allself.
But is it for you?
It's not for
Nope.
me.
Okay. Why is it not for you?
Because that's not my belief. That's
Okay.
not what I stand on. I want to be with one person. I want to, you know, I'm all for marriage. I'm all for, you know, black love. I'm all for a love legacy, and it's just something that I
Love
want to,
legacy. I like that word.
Yeah, I want to prove that to my kids. I want to show my kids, you know, a healthy relationship. That's one of my goals for them, to be able to set an example with that, to show them that, you know, I want that. And I tell them all the time, I want to see grandkids. I want grandkids.
Yeah.
Like, I want it to be passed down. So for me, it's not for me. That's not for me.
I like that response. You did that.
Thank you.
What up, Kim?
I
How you feel
agree.
about
She
that?
took the words right out of my mouth. She said it right down. But how many girlfriends does he have?
He has like at least 2 or more.
Nah, yeah. If they're all for it, go ahead. But like she said, it's not for me. And if he's like having kids with these women, I don't know if he is or not, but that's just gonna create like broken families too, you know?
Yeah.
See, I like that y'all are looking at the big picture behind all of these actions. All these things that these people are talking about, like with Neo having all these kids. Yeah, you're looking at it. At the end of the day, it's a broken foundation from multiple angles. For one, the woman's looking at it as a meal ticket, having a kid, you know, for the sole purpose, okay, having a kid with an R&B or rich R&B dude who got money. And the R&B dude is looking at, I got all these women in my quote-unquote stable that I can, you know, live this type of lifestyle with. And then the kids is going to be the ones that's really hurting.
Right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, with all what you just shared, no one's really truly happy inside.
Right.
Nope.
You know, it's just instant gratification, but no one's truly happy. It's just quick, temporary.
And I feel like a lot of females, we lie to ourselves a lot when it comes down to like stuff. Like, we'll condition ourselves into feeling like, okay, since I'm not getting what I want, I'm okay with settling for this. Like, I feel like a lot of females do that, and it's all for a show, and they put on like, yeah, I don't care about him doing this, I don't care about that, but in our reality, like, they're lying to themselves. That's why it's just a lot of chaos and toxic.
But why do you think women choose to put themselves in those type of situations?
Low self-esteem, low self-worth, not truly knowing themselves. A lot of people don't even know the emotions that they'll be feeling at the time when it's happening. Like, it's a lot. You got to know yourself. Like, when you genuinely know you, like, I get called grandma because the club ain't never been for me. Like,
I get called auntie a lot of the time.
When I started going to the club, like at 18, I started going to the club. I never liked the environment, so I don't really do it unless my friends are like having a birthday event. You know, you celebrating your people.
Yeah,
right.
That's when I'll do it. So, like, you know, when people used to be like, "Oh, you so lame. You work from home. You could come out and you could wake up and you could still go to work. You don't have to do that." Listen, I don't want to do it, but you have to know yourself, and you really have to like be authentically you.
A lot of people don't know
with
themselves.
that. Like, a lot of people don't know themselves. They do things just because everybody else is doing it,
Right.
or they just feel like this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
chasing that fast life, knowing that nothing good is gonna come out of it.
that temporarily happiness.
Because as quick as you get it, that's as quick as you're gonna lose it.
Yep.
I agree with all statements at the table. Like you said originally, Renee, if they like it, I love it. I mean, if he has the money to do it and the ladies that are coming to him are like, okay, I'm down with this. So, hey, live your best life. It's not for me, right? Yeah. Once again, I'm a Cancer. I can't do that's too much juggling, right? Absolutely. I can't be crying every other day because you ain't acting right and listen to me. You feel me? So 1 and 1. That's it. Okay. Yo. Before we, DJ N.E.L, we're going to jump into it. Once again, Renee, Kimberly, if you have any questions for my boy DJ, just feel free to ask me. Help me out here today. DJ N.E.L, let's get into it, man. Let's talk about you. Where are you from? Tell us your background, where your inspiration came with being a DJ, and let's go from there.
All right, cool. So I was born and originally raised in a very, very small hood known as Farrell, Pennsylvania. It's right on the border between Pennsylvania and Ohio. I spent the first 13 years of my life growing up there, and my parents got us out of there and moved us down to Florida at age 13 because they felt as though that type of environment just wasn't a conducive one to raise children in. So they moved us to the Sunshine State, and I've been living here pretty much ever since. But I've moved around a lot since my college days. Like after I finished college, I spent 2 years living in Wisconsin, and I spent a year living in Atlanta. So I've moved around quite a bit. Now, the inspiration behind what got me into DJing. It's a story behind it. I'll keep it as brief as possible, but basically, to make a long story short, I came down to Tampa for a weekend that my fraternity was having, a party weekend and whatnot. And it was the last day, and they were having a party at the park on a Sunday, like a barbecue. And the DJs couldn't hook none of their equipment up. So I said, you know what? There was people already there. They're bored. They waiting for the music. I had a big portable speaker in my trunk. I grabbed it, hooked up my little DJ app to it, and just held the whole party down. As soon as I heard that, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is my calling. It was almost like God cast the light down on me and said, "Yeah, this is it. Go do it."
You said earlier that you were the black sheep of your family due to you want to pursue this career. Let's get into that a little bit. What makes you the black sheep of the family?
It's not necessarily the pursuit of the career. It's just more so me and the type of personality that I have. Me just kind of being... I was always a little weird growing up. And I'm not ashamed of being weird back when I was a kid. I'm not being ashamed of weird now. I'll tell all y'all straight up the weird stuff I used to do. I used to walk around in the summertime with a big ass robe on and a freaking toy lightsaber acting like a Jedi because I genuinely believe that's what I was when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So just me being the type of person that I am, I just come from a certain type of family. I guess you can call it a dysfunctional family, toxic family, whatever you want to say, where being yourself wasn't really pushed. You know, it was more so it's just like it ties into the issues where, you know, us as black folks have, where we feel as though you have to be a certain type of way. You have to speak a certain type of way. You have to conduct yourself in a certain type of manner in order to be considered an authentic black person. And I've always gone against that from the time I was coming up. So, you know, specifically from my father, cousins, family members that I've had who fit that quote unquote description. But I always knew that I had something bigger in store for me. So it used to bother me. It used to get on my nerves. But through years and years of learning who I am, yeah, it's nothing to me at this point.
Have those awesome. Has your father and your family come around? Now they see that you're, you know, hey, this is my boy he's getting up there. Have they come around?
Not really. They, to an extent, they're proud of me. Like my father, he helped out in certain ways in the early stages of my DJ career. But you know, there's always an ulterior. You know how it goes in business. Mm-hmm. There's always ulterior motive behind things. So, to an extent, they come around, but it's not coming around like, hey, I know you got this gig coming up in Tampa. Let me come pull up and support you. It's more so like, hey, bro, what you trying to do this weekend? You trying to go? I'm going to say it. I don't care. You trying to go hit the hoes this weekend? You trying to go see what's up with the week? No, I'm not on that type of time right now.
You're focused.
I'm focused. So to an extent, they get it. But at the end of the day, like, I don't really care who comes around. Who's meant for me is meant for me. And that's just how I look at it.
Where did the name DJ N.E.L come from?
So my first name is Jan.E.L, J-A-N-E-L. So the last 3 letters of my first name, I took that and made that my DJ name. Just because I'm inspired by people like Tupac. You know, people call him Pac, P-A-C, or Nas. You know, his real name is Nasir, N-A-S. That's how he got his name, Nas. So I just took the same formula and just created DJ N.E.L and made that my moniker.
How long have you been in the DJ business for?
Professionally, about 2 years now.
2 years. Was it something like, was it something hard is it something hard to break into that field?
Absolutely, it's hard to break into it.
I mean,
it's hard to break into it because you have to get people to take you seriously. You can't just say, hey, I'm gonna be a DJ one day and then try to, you know, do a party and you completely bomb it because you suck, because you don't know what songs to play and you don't know what people listen to. If you try to DJ a party just based off what you listen to alone and you don't have no type of ear about what's going on out there, yeah, you're hit. So you have to get out in the field. You have to go to these clubs. You have to go to these parties. You have to learn what songs are popping. You have to learn what people like. It's not about me. It's not about the promoter. It's not about the owner. It's about the people, the patrons, the people who spend their hard-earned money, the woman who's stressed out because, you know, she's a single mother, she's getting ready to start college. It's about the man who just lost his job and he's stressed out and he's trying to find a new way in life. When they come to an event that I DJ, all of those problems go away at that point. Because I want you to get out of that for a second and just have a good time.
What genre do you DJ typically?
A little bit of, I was about to say, what genre don't I DJ? But honestly, my specialty, I like doing R&B.
Okay.
I like brunch. I like that type of vibe.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do the ratchet stuff, obviously. That's easy. But I feel like some people can't switch up and actually do something that's like, that's a little more in that cool, grown and sexy pocket. So that's what I like. So
because my next question was going to be like, what type of events do you like to do the most? Is it like weddings? Do you like to do more like brunches, or like what is your?
I like from a pay perspective, weddings easily, definitely from a pay perspective.
They're gonna pay.
Oh yeah, big time. But from like what I personally like to do, it's two. So I like to do brunch type of parties. And that because I can mix a little bit of the ratchet vibes with a little bit of the R&B vibes. So, yeah, you might have girls dancing, but then the next you might have them doing, you know, karaoke with certain songs that I play. Mm-hmm. And the other type of vibe, just me being the type of person that I am and what I like. I'm a big fan of those old school, like just basement house parties. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a no holds barred environment, and when you can curate a vibe like that, it's so beautiful. It like, from my perspective as a DJ, seeing people, you know, sweating, dancing, having
a good time,
having a good ass time, having a ball. It's hard to replicate that, and you don't see that a lot nowadays. I know back in the day, that's how our parents used to party. Everybody had that little, you know, whether it was in the backyard, whether it was in the basement, those type of parties that always going to be my favorite. And especially when I moved to Florida and I first started meeting Caribbean people and I started seeing how they party. Oh yeah, all day,
party all night.
What?
You know, being a businessman that you are, you know, because you handle big business, how do you filter good advice and bad advice? Like when you like, okay, this person is jealous of me. They don't mean me any good. They just are actually envious of what I do. How do you filter that stuff?
Stop listening to people. Mm. I don't take advice. Mm. Honestly, I take life advice. Mm. I don't take advice as far as how I do my craft and how I handle my business. I do what I like, honestly. Mm. And whoever likes it, that's the part that's up to me. But I feel as though when you get caught up in listening into people, you know, that's where you end up failing, because you start overthinking how your business should be ran and how it should be operated. At the end of the day, you are the captain of the ship. Steer that motherfucker. Because
those same people will have you questioning your own vision and deteriorate you from somewhere else. Like, okay, I had a plan. Well, I don't think you should do that. I have had that a lot of times. People tell me that, well, you should do it like this. Unless I ask for your opinion.
Right.
Exactly.
Unless I ask for your opinion. You can give it. I may not take it. But yeah, that was that. I just had to ask, because,
like,
you know,
like, it's funny because, like, people on my team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll point out certain things. Like, one of my business partners, he'll be like, yeah, we should implement. He'll like have a list of like 10 different things, and he'll be like, yeah, we should implement all of these things into the business. I'm like, all right, we could probably do like maybe 2 of those things,
right.
But the other 8, yeah, we can't just do yet, because yeah, you might think it's a great. And when you say it, put it on paper, yeah, it sounds good. But when you're a one man army, you know, it's hard to make all of these things come true at
How
one
much
time.
is it gonna cost? That's the
Right. It costs, and am I gonna get my return?
Right.
Am I, in terms of value, am I gonna get my return back? So yeah, sometimes you have to temper it. If you could take advice, but you have to temper it a lot, and you have to make it to where it's at a good pace to where you can keep up with it and it doesn't get too out of hand.
DJ N.E.L, me as a consumer, if I was to book you, what can I expect? What's the type of experience I'm gonna get?
I just told you finna vibe out, bro. all three of y'all.
Where can the people find you at on social media?
So you can find me on Instagram at IAMJ_productions. And if you want to book me, contact me via email at bookimjbeats@gmail.com. So bookimjbeats@gmail.com. That's where you can find me.
Lovely ladies, you have any questions from my boy DJ N.E.L?
Fire away.
Any questions you could think of?
Are you a traveling DJ?
Speaking of that, quick story. So I'm in town for this whole weekend because of certain events I had, right? So Friday I DJ'd at a club in Tampa. Yesterday I got a last minute call from a DJ saying, "Hey, I got a gig for you in Miami. It's a high school football game. Can you go do it?" Hell yeah, I can go do it. So I drive 4 hours down to Miami, go do it, and then I come back up right here this very next day to go do this interview, this podcast. And about 2 weeks ago, I DJ'd a wedding in Virginia.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of these things happen last minute, but yeah, sometimes I plan it out. Party in New York, event in LA for BET weekend. Sometimes, so those ones you have to plan out a little bit more. But yeah, I definitely do.
Good for you.
How old are you?
27.
My boy got a good head on his shoulder. You feel me? Hey, you guys, make sure you check out my boy DJ N.E.L on all social media platforms. He even got a YouTube page. You don't really put much on it now, but still, he got that. It's in his bio.
Yep, IMJ Productions.
And check him out, and we support you, man. Hey, keep it up, man. We're going to hop back into our topics list, you guys. Let's talk about, okay, so I don't know this lady's name, but Little Babies. No, the baby, no. There's two of them.
No, it ain't Little Baby.
Which one is it?
The Baby.
The baby.
The Baby. No, there is a Little Baby word.
There is a Little Baby, but it ain't him. That's my
Are
baby.
you talking about which one?
Okay. No, I'm talking about the one. No, I'm talking about the one with the dreads.
Little Baby.
Little Baby. Okay. Little Baby got a baby mama. His baby mama got a sister, right? Whoever that is, right?
Oh, so Jada's sister.
Right, yes. And she was on live, right? And she has a baby that was crying. It's a boy. And she yelled on the live and saying that, "Stop all that crying. You're not a girl."
Oh, shit.
To a baby. How do you guys feel about that? Is that some type of trauma?
Absolutely.
Certain people don't need to be having kids, bro.
Absolutely, because once that child gets older, he's going to already be, like, it's going to be instilled in his mind, oh, I can't cry, I can't express my emotions. I feel like that's where it starts.
Yeah,
you know, it's a baby.
That's means for it right there. Anger issues
Right.
there.
So
And
now
start out
once,
suppressing them
yeah,
emotions.
exactly. So now, like, when the child has to express himself as he gets older, how is he going to do it in different negative ways, lashing out because he can't express himself at the home?
Yeah, that shit was stupid.
And then we complain when we grown-ups here dating dudes and they don't express their emotion, and we be like, oh, he's so nonchalant, he don't talk, he don't do this. The mama did it.
Right.
I blame you.
So Renee, do you have a son or a daughter?
I have two sons. I have one daughter.
Okay, so how do you go about, as a mother, how do you go about getting your boys to express their emotions?
I have so much different ways. Like, sometimes I ask them, like, you know, what do you want to do? And my son would be like, I want to scream. And I'd be like, okay, scream. I have sketch pads. Draw about it. Write about it. Like, you want to talk about it? What do you want to do? Sometimes they just want a hug. And I'll ask them, like, are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? No. Well, can I give you a hug? Do you just want a hug? Yeah. So to me, like, my household, I am so big on breaking these generational curses when it comes down to these kids of mine. It's like, I look into so much different resources, and I'm going to school for psychology. So
That's
like,
actually what my degree's in.
yeah. So for me, like it opens up. Like I'm taking a parenting class coming up this semester, and I'm so excited about it. Even though I know, like I've been experiencing this parenting thing for 13, 14 years now. So it's like I already have the experience, but it's just exciting to like getting different information because there's so many different ways out here that you can learn and teach them. Like, and every child is different. What works for one doesn't work. Like I have to talk to my youngest a different way than I talk to my oldest or my middle child. Like it's just so many different ways. But I never feel like you should just tell them to like shut up or it's just not the right way because that grows into them. You know, like what you instill into them now it makes them who they are.
Right. And also just being mindful and just being present with your child too.
Yeah.
You know, being observant. If you see your child like isolating, talk to them like, hey, what's going on? Like, just be present, be curious, because children, they have a funny way of lashing out without speaking about it.
Right. And also create an environment that makes them feel comfortable to open up to you.
Yep.
And that's my home right there. My kids, they tell me about myself all the time. And I ask them too, like I will literally ask my kids, am I being a great mom? Like, what do you want me to do differently? How, you know, like, I want y'all to experience it. It's not just my life. This is, we all in this together. So I want your experience to be as good as mine. So I asked them, like, you know, what am I doing? Like, am I being a great mom today?
Right.
Like, what can I do better? Like,
that's good.
Yeah.
They need the healthiest version of you.
I definitely, that's the goal. Like, I get up every day and I thrive for that. Mr.
N.E.L, you got anything to add to this, Mr. N.E.L?
As somebody who at one point was one of those nonchalant men that y'all speak on, I dealt with that firsthand as a child, especially being the oldest boy, being taught, you know, that you have to be tough and that you have to basically suppress your emotions because it's viewed as a weakness. And to be fair, from a woman's perspective, not all do perceive expressing emotions as a weakness. But me personally, I have no problem expressing myself if I feel a certain type of way. It's just the way that I go about it. I'm more of like a type of person to speak rationally, but let you know that, hey, what you did, I felt a certain type of way about that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if you're the type of person that seeks to build and to actually create a positive environment, you'll be willing to take that and if I hold you accountable and you hold, because if a woman holds me accountable for my actions and what I do, I'm very much like, okay, even if I don't necessarily agree with it or don't see the perspective, I'm the type of person to be like, okay, I understand what you're saying. I'm going to work on that.
I hate that. Okay, so the R&B singer Tank, you know, he came out and he said that he believes that Chris Brown is better than Michael Jackson. Do you guys feel the same?
No.
And why not?
You can't replicate a Michael Jackson.
Why not?
No shot at Chris Brown at all. But
who dances better?
Michael.
Chris Brown is talented.
Chris Brown is all around though. Like he's all around. Like he sings, he raps, he dances. Like the man can. He done been in a few movies too. Like I mean, I feel like Michael is great. Michael is great, and he was the greatest of his time. But right now, we in 2024. He the shit.
I see where you're coming from, but from my perspective, with Chris Brown, he's very talented, but he's not Michael Jackson. Like, Michael Jackson is iconic. Like, that name will live on forever, like, from generations from now, you know? Chris Brown, he's great. Not gonna, you know, knock him off his game, but Michael Jackson, he's international. I would compare Beyonce to Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I agree.
I think she's on that type of, you know,
level. So this is my perspective on it, and this is why I don't think any artist of any generation will touch a Michael Jackson. And it's speaking about Chris Brown. It's not a shot at Chris Brown at all, because he's a phenomenal artist too. Michael Jackson made music that mattered. Michael Jackson made made music that spoke to people and touched people in a certain way. Man in the Mirror, Earth Song, Heal the World. Don't matter if you're black and white. Chris Brown makes a lot of music that is a good vibe, but when you listen to what's being said, it fits into that secular, you know, social media type of environment that we know in 2024. So if you're looking for music that actually has real substance to it, in addition to the astronomical talent that Michael has, yeah, Michael's got it by a long shot, in my opinion.
Yeah, Michael Jackson definitely brought countries together.
Right.
You know?
I would agree. I do feel as though there's but even Chris Brown has said it himself, if it wasn't for Michael Jackson, he wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, Michael Jackson is an icon. He's a legend. His name will live on from generation to generation. I'm not saying that Chris Brown won't be remembered, but I think, unfortunately, he will be remembered maybe from some poor decisions. And I think when you think of Michael, you think of Thriller, you think of Do You Remember the Times? I don't know if Chris Brown's gonna have that longevity. I like Chris Brown's music,
Yeah.
but I think that unfortunately,
but let's be fair though. Michael also has an asterisk next to his name too. We don't. Do we believe he really did that? No, but it's unfortunately it's there, and some people are gonna put that on him too.
But I think the masses with Michael Jackson, they don't. I feel like every time people talk about Chris Brown, they talk about his past. I feel like every time they talk about Michael Jackson, they don't really talk about his past or the things they believe he did. I don't know. I feel like I always say when it comes to Chris Brown, yeah, he a good artist, but he has had a really, really tough past. And that has affected his career. And
in defense of Chris Brown too, to be fair, yeah, obviously what he did was wrong, but at the end of the day, he was a 19-year-old kid coming into fame.
I think there's multiple things, unfortunately, he did wrong.
Right, yeah. I'm just talking about the elephant in the room that we all know. He was 19 when that happened. Apparently, it was a very toxic relationship. Yeah. I don't think that his entire life and legacy should be summed up off that one incident that occurred. She's obviously forgiven him for it. They both moved on from the situation, and I honestly think the world needs to move on from it as well.
I agree.
You don't never want to let shit go.
That's our problem.
Simone Biles. I hope I'm saying that lady's name right. The Olympic gold medalist. She was estranged from her biological mother. Her biological mother now wants to reunite with her, and she said she wants Miss Biles to be the one that decides to do it. How do you feel about that? Should she allow her mother to come back into her life, or should she leave her mother out of her life because now she's successful? And she got money and she's living a life of luxury. How do you guys feel about that?
It's based upon her. I feel like when kids grow up, like, I don't have no expectation for how my kids' relationship is going to be with me when they grow up. They make their own choices. When you raise your kids up for them to come up in the world and for them to go off, be independent, be successful, and make their own legacy. So for me, it's really based upon her and what she chooses to do when it comes down to that. Like, I don't have any say-so in that. Like, I can't have any say-so in that. She might not want to deal with her right now, but later on down the line, decide that, you know what, I'm ready to take that step and to reunite with her mom. And that's on her. Like, if she gets the opportunity and the chance to do that, if she's still alive when she chooses to do that, that's on her. But I never feel like when it comes down to like a relationship, you can never tell someone how to do that. Like, we can't project when it comes down to that.
Leave your mama when she left you. That's my response. Leave your mama when she left you. You feel me? No, honestly, that's the circumstances that definitely a lot of kids that are in foster care and adopted, they wind up sometimes and they become successful, and now these parents that unfortunately didn't raise them now when they re-enter in their life to have some of their glory, which I think is definitely unfortunate. Yeah. And also the fact that she wants her daughter to be the one to reach out to her is kind of weird to me.
I do. Now that you said that part, yeah, I agree with that part specifically. The fact that, but just like Renee said, it all falls on Simone. It all falls on the amount of grace that she decides to display in a situation, because you can't, like you said, you can't tell somebody how to handle a situation like that. And it's hard for me, and I can't really speak on it because I don't have that perspective. I didn't come up like that, but there are some people who did come up like that and do decide to show their family and their parents grace. So, God bless Simone. Hopefully she prays on that decision and she decides to take the best route for her in that instance.
What do you think, Mikey?
So I see both sides of it because I work with addicts. So a lot of the times with addiction, these people are trying to get their life right. They're doing the right thing. And I see that firsthand. but their families have been affected and hurt by it for so long. So now it's just like, okay, how do we get to move on from it, right? So I think what her mom is doing, I think it's a good thing for her to allow Simone to come to her. I think so, because if she tries to go for it, you know, she's going to be like, oh, you're just trying to get money and all this negativity stuff. But at the end of the day, time heals all, and it's just acceptance. If her mom, you know, or I'm sorry, if Simone doesn't come back to her mom and like have that conversation, her mom has to accept it and kind of move on from it, if that makes sense, you know?
Leave her where she left you. You guys, this has been another amazing episode of the Get Ready For It podcast, season 5, new era. It's your boy, the Amazing King, coming to you live and in color, bringing you that oh so amazing touch. You guys, make sure you follow the podcast page at ready4it_1. Please make sure you follow your boy at amazing IM_. Renee, where can people find you at?
Instagram, underscore unprecedented underscore Renee.
Kimberly?
Instagram, KAYLINDSSX3. So Kaylin's X3.
And my boy DJ N.E.L. once again, run no social media.
IAMJ_productions. Find me on Instagram. If you want to hear some of my mixes on SoundCloud, follow me on SoundCloud at DJ N.E.L. And we are out of this thing.
We really are. We're going to end the episode with a song called You Are Gonna Make It by my boy Ray Muse. It's been a pleasure. Get ready for it.